Glenn Danzig, I heard you been friggin' around, bud, and I got a couple things to say about it. The former lead singer of The Misfits, known as Glenn Danzig, just put out a little bit of merch with some interesting iconography on it. And today, I gotta rip it to shreds. But before I do, hey, hi, hello, my name is Dan Frampton. Welcome to the Clubhouse Warriors. Likes and subs, let's go. If you comment within the first 3 hours, I will reply. Now, lately on the channel, I've been spending a lot more time on the videos, doing a little bit of research, doing a little bit of writing, doing a little bit of editing, and putting together entire videos that have a whole production behind them. I'm saying nuh-uh to the drama and saying yuh-huh to the high effort content. But today is a little bit different. Today, I gotta rip open the drama scabs yet again because Glenn Danzig is out here doing preposterous stuff, okay? He's being a little bit Kanye West adjacent, and the metal community are kind of approving of it, and I have no idea why. So you're probably asking yourself, Dan, what are you even talking about right now? Well, I'll show you some Glenn Danzig merch that he made for his tour that he's got going on over here. You got the name Danzig, you got the little cartoon caricature of the guy here, but behind him, in orange, what do you see here? It's a little symbol of some kind. You might recognize this as Alex Terrible's former elbow tattoo, or you might know it as the Black Sun, which was used by the Nazi Party. It was inspired by something, but this symbol here came into prominence through the Nazi Party. This isn't a Nordic thing. This isn't a Far East thing. This is a Nazi symbol called the Black Sun. And we go over to the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, and they got a whole write-up over here on the Black Sun. Not necessarily the kind of symbol that you want to be just tossing on your piece of merchandise, Glenn Danzig. The Sonnerrad, or sun wheel, is one of a number of ancient European symbols appropriated by the Nazis in their attempt to invent an idealized Aryan Norse heritage. The Sonnerrad appears in the traditional symbology of many countries and cultures, including Old Norse and Celtic origin. It has countless variations. The swastika and similar rounded variants are actually Sonnerrad forms, are certain versions of the Celtic cross. In Nazi Germany, the Nazi Party, the SA, and the SS all use Sonnerrad symbology at times, which has led neo-Nazis and other modern white supremacists to adopt such images. Now, Sonnerrads and sun wheels have been used forever. Many cultures, ancient cultures, using sun wheel, but this specific sun wheel is the Nazi sun wheel. Check it out right here. Very hateful piece of imagery right here, and then a 1-to-1 replica of it on Glenn Danzig's t-shirt over here. Now, some people are saying, oh, Glenn doesn't know. He just wants a cool little symbol to look cool and edgy on his little shirt. That's fine. I don't agree with that at all. Glenn Danzig 100% has studied the occult and the symbols surrounding it. Just given this image right here of him holding the book that says the occult roots of Nazism. Big fan he is. But is he really a hateful, racist, white supremacist kind of guy? Or is he just an edgelord? I think probably the latter. He's probably just some edgy guy trying to be an edgelord to try to get some reactions out of some people. But using Nazi symbology might be taking it up a little bit too far, no? No, I can see Danzig's just there on the news, on the internet, seeing Kanye West get away with all sorts of stuff, and he's thinking, you know what? That's giving me an idea. I'm gonna run with this idea of the Black Sun, but I'm gonna make it orange. Not only am I gonna make it orange, I'm gonna make it glow in the dark. So when all the lights are off in the venue, the only thing that you're gonna see is Glenn Danzig up on stage and the Black Sun wheel behind his merch booth. Very cool, Glenn. But that's all fine and dandy, whatever, no big deal, I guess. That's just Glenn Danzig being Glenn Danzig, right? No, this is wrong and it's awful and we shouldn't be using these symbols to propagate anything in the modern day. But if it was just edginess and neo-Nazis didn't actually exist, and it wasn't like dog whistling really hateful people to do really hateful things, and it was just kind of like an edgy nod to the past, then maybe you could kind of say that kind of thing. But neo-Nazis are real. They are doing marches. They are dressing up in black and red and waving flags around, and having artists out there represent this kind of stuff just lets those other kind of hateful groups let them know that everything's okay, and it emboldens them. And then other people are out here being like, you gotta separate the art from the artist. Don't you like the Danzig songs? Well, I don't know if you know, but that's artwork on the shirt. That isn't separating the art from the artist. That is the art. The art is that hateful symbol. The art is the black sun. He is using that to sell his image. He is using that to exploit his brand for money. It's baffling. It's absolutely wild. And the only reason that he is doing it is because it is so much in the culture right now that he can get away with it. But it's even not really Danzig that I'm super annoyed with. It's everybody that's excusing it that I'm kind of annoyed with. Oh, wait till you see how the Ukraine used the sun wheel. Oh, wait till you see how this culture used the sun wheel. Don't give me that. This is a one-to-one replica of the Black Sun. The Black Sun. Alex Terrible has had it tattooed on his elbow, and to his credit, has tattooed around it, even covering some of it up. I'm not sure how much of it is covered up, but Alex Terrible has addressed it and has claimed that he is moving on from it and isn't really feeding into all the neo-Nazi WP stuff that's going on in the world today. So I gotta give him that credit. Whereas Glenn Danzig is leaning all the way into it, which is crazy because I thought Michael Graves was the far right guy that used to sing for the Misfits. But really, it's always been Danzig. And Danzig is quite the little goblin man, all 4'3" of them out there just without a lick of musical talent. For some reason, he's been able to get away with it for decades now. And I will say, I do find him entertaining in a car crash kind of way, in a he's so bad it's funny kind of way. I love the Misfits. All those classic songs, the classic era of the Misfits. Big fan, will always be a big fan. There is no real separate the art from the artist. They're a spooky group of spooky boys making spooky tunes. And they did only have 2 good albums, but those 2 albums were hella good. But when your art is the Black Sun, that's when you can draw that line in the sand and be like, you know what, Danzig, I was gonna draw the line at your Elvis album, but now that you're out here doing this kind of stuff, I think it's safe to walk away from the Danzig Q. And I know the internet is full of people just uptight, enraged, finding things to get mad about or whatever, and then there's other people that defend the most deplorable stuff in the world. There are 2 extreme ends of that spectrum that exist simultaneously on the internet, and there doesn't seem to be any nuance in between. I'm not here to cancel anybody or take anyone's career away from them, but when I see whack, cringe bullshit, I'm gonna call it out for the whack, cringe bullshit that it is, and Danzig is out here doing some pretty whack stuff, not gonna lie. He's always been a bit of an edgelord, but far-right imagery, I gotta push the brakes on that a little bit. It's not like you're just using a cute little iron cross over here, because iron crosses have been used in much more than just Nazi stuff. But the Black Sun? Bro, the Black Sun! The Black Sun! Incredible, Danzig. And what's worse than all of that is he's charging $80 for a poster with that image on it. 80 American dollars. Okay, that's where the Glenn Danzig situation is right now. I gotta get out of here. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye, see you later, and have a good one.